Hey, y'all. We're back. It's Chioma.
I'm Bianca. I'm sorry.
And we're here to review Put a Ring on It Season 3, Episode 6. And y'all are probably wondering why we're in our car, but, life is lifing, and we have to stop and make a video, but we're out here living life. Oh!
We here, ain't we? So, yeah, okay, so this episode picks back up from where last episode left off. Basically, Charlie, I'm gonna call her Charlie. She is pretty much like, are you effing kidding me? Like, were you really DMing that girl to Otis? And she's just like pretty much ready to go home. Dr. Nicole is like, calm down. Like, is that really gonna be productive to the relationship? And she's like, there is no relationship. Like, we're done. Eventually, she does decide to like stay in the room until Dr. Nicole's done with everyone. So she moves on to Shay. Or was it Shorty? She moved on to Shay.
Yeah, because Shorty's who they talked about first.
Okay, right. She moved on to Shay, and Shay is, doing her usual sob story about how Alfonso doesn't give a damn about her.
Pretty much. Like, every week is just like, tell the viewers how much Alfonso hates me.
Like, she's doing her usual, basically saying she really can't stand how he laughs all the time, and she feels like he's not understanding like how she feels. I do think his laughter is like a nervous laugh. And Dr. Nicole pretty much is like, oh, how do you feel about it, Alfonso? He never really says much.
He literally just like,
He's like, I mean, I just don't know how we got here. Like, I'm just,
That's always his answer.
I was like, okay. Anyway, we move on to I believe Shorty,
yeah. They are in her kitchen.
Yes.
Like, talking about the session or whatever. And it all boils down to Shorty hates Kenneth. And she came on this show. B has said this weeks ago that she came on this show to break up with Kenneth. And honestly, that is what she came to do. Because she's in any moment or any discussion they're having to be like, let's just not be together. Or like, he'll even be trying. Like, I can give him credit. He'll be trying.
He has been trying.
What can I do, like, to make this better? Like, we need to. And she was like, maybe we just shouldn't need to be together. Like, they need to find you someone who you actually like so you can go on a second date with somebody. Like, she's just always trying to push him into the hands of somebody else. And honestly, another thing, she's actually a bitch. She's not nice. Like, yes, Kenneth has his issues, but she's really not a nice woman. Because you can say all this about Kenneth is not on your level and all that, but what does it say about you? Because you picked them.
And still with him.
And you're still with him how many years later? You haven't left.
Yeah, I had a huge problem with
how she talks to him.
I actually do not like, in general, when people do not acknowledge that men have feelings. I don't like that. And yeah, I'm team women, but men are human beings, and if you guys be saying, oh yeah, we want a man who knows this, you have to start acknowledging their emotions. You cannot keep tearing somebody down like that.
And then be surprised when they don't think highly of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you beat them down so much. And I think Shorty actually gets a kick out of having a man there who she knows not gonna leave, because she knows he loves her. Like she's gonna have to be the one to have to leave him.
She's gonna have to be the one to break it up.
And she knows that, and as much as she down talks to him, she likes it. She likes knowing like this nigga not going nowhere.
Because even no matter what she does, he's always still like, how can we make this better? Like, he never, and that's to Kenneth, I'm just like, you need to start respecting yourself, because
how she gonna respect you? You don't even respect you.
You need, like, put your foot down a little bit. And it just shows how childish she is. Because when he did say at one point, okay, well, let me not jump ahead. So yeah, they were in her kitchen talking. He's pretty much like, hey, I want us to go on a date and pretty much remember the reasons why we fell in love with each other, and let's just have a good day. And she's like, oh, you want to go to the date without us discussing the session that we had with Dr. Nicole? And he was just like, I mean, you want to do that now? She was like, yeah, because I don't want to bring that into the date. Like, are we going to discuss that during the date? Then what if it just goes wrong? And he's like, okay, cool. Like, let's talk about it. He pretty much says, I didn't appreciate how you put me down in front of everybody. And in general, like, it's just like, you keep acting like I can't do anything right, but I must be doing something right because you're still here with me, and you 40 years old. You should know better, like, what you want. And she was, oh, so I'm old? Yeah, you are. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but you are.
Too old to be doing
too
this.
old to be doing this shit. And her ass ain't 40. She's 46. But continue.
So yeah, she just starts to like nitpick at everything Kenneth says. She didn't even take a moment to be like, oh, I appreciate that you want to do a date tonight. Thanks, babe. Like,
or she doesn't try to hear anything anybody else says.
She's just looking for the next thing to complain about. She pretty much clarifies her statement. Like, I was trying to say that you like women out of your league because you like women that have things, you know, established and going for themselves. And I don't necessarily feel like you have that. And, you know, he said that it was offensive. What the? Sorry, guys.
We must focus.
She was like, he was saying he found it offensive or whatever, but he's still trying to be positive. He's like, you know, let's just make it to the date. So then we go to Charlie and Otis in the next scene. She's ready for her date. She looks really cute. Prior to that, I'm sorry, I skipped the scene. Otis goes to talk to his dad. Yes. His mom has passed, and you know, he's just asking his dad questions like, you know, how are you able to keep your cool with mom when like y'all had tough conversations? Like, how'd you get her to like be on the same page with you? And he was just like, you know, you have to be patient, and you have to be sure to listen. This guy says, oh, I listen, she just doesn't know.
Otis just wants to be right so damn bad. He should just be in a relationship with himself.
He needs to be with himself. Like, what good is listening if the person doesn't know you don't listen? I mean, no,
that you're listening. Because she thinks you don't listen, so it causes y'all to argue more. So I didn't even understand that. He just wants to have a comeback for everything.
And even his dad was like, well, you said she doesn't know, so you need to make sure you're putting in that effort to let her know, like, I hear you, and, you know, whatever. So then Charlie's getting, you know, ready for her date. She's about to head off. Otis, with his non-expressive ass, he just like always looks like
literally the personality of wet paper towel.
So like
boring.
Just, I don't know,
like not a tinge of emotion ever.
Like his eyes just be looking dead, empty.
They're looking like somebody I know in real life.
So Charlie's like, you know, she's going on her date. He's like, oh, you look nice, you know, I hope you have fun. She's like, thanks. And he tries to say basically, you know, I know you're still feeling the way, blah blah blah. And she's just like, well, I mean, you know, are you ready to take accountability? And he says something, I forgot. It wasn't taking accountability.
It was the opposite of that.
Yeah. And she was just like, okay. Then in his confessional, he like, well, I tried, I did what my dad said, it didn't work.
He was like, maybe my mom was easier to talk to than Charlie. I'm like, sir, that's all right.
His dad was saying like, you have to have patience, like in general, not just this one conversation. So
Otis hears what he wants to hear. That's his damn problem.
So when he be saying he's listening,
we know that's not true.
Yeah, child. So she goes out on her date. It was a very strange date.
That guy was not my cup of tea. And he just looks like he's a F-boy.
He looks like someone. He looks familiar.
He looks like he plays NFL. Like, he looks like one of them young boys with the young hair and the...
His hair was crazy to me.
It was crazy.
He just starts telling all these stories. Like, even my mom, when she called me, she was like, did you watch Put a Ring on It? Why did he kept just telling all these random stories about threesomes and stuff? I'm like,
and when guys are quick to talk about sex, that's also a turn off.
It's a huge turn off for me.
So I would have been over that date.
And she was like, oh, you know, he seems like trouble, but maybe the good kind.
So you go from Otis to, like, just...
I was like, okay.
You
Charlie.
Women like pain.
Yeah, like, all right, girl.
Nothing about this guy says good guy.
Or even fun trouble. Like, it actually seemed nasty to me, because he was just putting all his business on Front Street. Then he... Go ahead.
Oh, he probably was even doing that because he's on TV.
I felt like he was playing to the camera too. He then just like, oh, when you gonna leave your dude? And
I'm used to dating girls with boyfriends. That's not cute.
Yeah, y'all need to. Yeah, this season of dates that y'all chose, y'all need to do a better job.
They do a better job of vetting.
Yeah, because this season, but yeah, so that was that. Charlie doesn't really say whether or not she wanted a second date. I kind of feel like she didn't, but I don't know. What happens next? Shay.
So Shay's mom and her aunt, her mom's sister, come to her house to, like, you know, talk up with her, chat up with her, and catch up and just see how she's doing. So they come to her house and they're like, you know, how are you? And she was just like, yeah. So she kind of starts to tell them about the issues that her and Alfonso are having. And she's like telling them, like, you know, well, we've been together for 3 years. Like, it's just been so long. But then she goes and says, I don't want to give up prematurely. I was like, ma'am, you literally just said y'all been together for 3 years. 365 times 3. That's a lot of damn days for you to say that you don't want to give up. It's a lot going on outside. But,
wait.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm not even going to say what we just saw. Yeah, she's like telling her mom she doesn't want to give up prematurely, but they're like, baby, he has to at least be playing the game with you. Like, you can't be in this thing by yourself and then wondering why it's not working. You're the only one trying. It's never gonna work. And like, so y'all tell me in the comments, like, what do y'all see when y'all see Shay? When I see Shay, I just see a woman who's so sad.
She is always crying.
She's literally, and it makes me, I was telling B, it makes me super sad when I see her. It's like her energy is very draining. Like, she looks like she's always on the verge of tears. Mm-hmm. Like, anytime she talks about her relationship, it's just like she's so sad about it. But it's like, I really think that she's in her head, she has this, how she wants her relationship to be. So she's just kind of fitting Alfonso. She's trying to
squeeze him into
her picture.
Yeah.
But that's just not who he is. If I haven't learned one thing from dating, is you literally have to accept people for who they are. And you're either going to be okay with it or you're not. And you are clearly not okay with it.
You're not okay with it. You're always in tears. You're always like talking about feeling disrespected or feeling ignored. Yes.
Yeah, like, I don't know how she's still there. And she keeps saying, like, I can't do this for another 10 minutes. I'm like, but you've been there for 3 years. Like, how did you even make it 3 years of feeling like this? That has to be a horrible feeling to feel all the time.
Shout out to Shay's aunt, because I felt like she just articulated everything so well. Like, she just really told Shay, like, pretty much, like Chioma said, like, he has to be trying, and also it's okay for you to walk away. Like, if you think about, you can't think about just today. You have to think about 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Do you think you would be happy with this? And she was like, I can't even see myself doing this for another 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then, baby girl, why are you still there?
No, it's sad. Now, I even said, like, I see Shay is actually older than me, but I see my younger self in the current her. Like, when I see her, I see, like, the 22-year-old college me who didn't know she deserved better. And the fact that she's how old and she still doesn't know. And she's so pretty and she seems like she's really smart. It's very sad.
I'm like, it seems like she has a career of her own. Like, it seems like she has things going for her. So it's just like, you have to love yourself a little more than you love Fonzo and pick yourself. Like, you need to leave and leave for good. There's no going back or whatever. She keeps saying this whole thing of, I'm just nervous because I know once I leave, that's it, okay? And let it be it.
Leave.
Let that be it. Is he the end all be all?
But it was we kind of skipped a part in the beginning, which will circle us back to Shay. Some of you women, stop calling your boyfriend your hubby and your spouse. That's not your spouse.
I'm so glad Dr. Nicole didn't let that slide.
That's your boyfriend. And you saying spouse, putting these unrealistic, you're expecting husband things from a boyfriend.
And sure, some boyfriends do husband things, some girlfriends do girlfriend things, but that's
not saying faithfulness is a husband thing. You should be faithful if you're in a committed relationship, but like, she has these unreal expectations out of him, and that's because has him up here in his head and he's not up there. He's still down here.
Cause they have a house together too.
Yeah, they've done everything but get married.
So that's what in her mind is like, that's her spouse. But until them papers are signed, I'm sorry, like, that's not what spouse means. And she kept saying, like, to you, no, like, oh, that's not your reality, but it's mine. No, that's the reality of what that's the reality means. And you're living in La La Land. You can't just pick a word and change the meaning. Sorry.
That's not how that goes.
Yeah, but
yeah, so she says, like, she pretty much ends the conversation with her aunt and her mom saying, Well, they told me everything that I needed to hear. Like, I kind of already knew I needed to walk away, but just getting their reassurance that it's okay for me to start over. So I'm like, oh yes, she must have learned, right? Y'all, next episode preview, she's talking to Alfonso like, all right, this is your last chance. I was just like, all right, man.
I was just like,
I literally almost was ready to just cut my TV off.
I thought you said you finally felt the reassurance you needed to walk away. Like, what is this?
Last chance. So that's it. The last scene was
Charlie and Otis.
Charlie and Otis go to meet up because they still haven't really been talking. They go to meet up to talk about it again. Otis still don't want to talk about it. He kind of just wants to skip over it, act like it never happened. And that's not
Otis's problem.
And that's not gonna. Maybe that used to work with Charlie, but she's not.
She's fed up.
She's fed up, and that's not gonna work for her. And honestly, it's really simple. She literally just wants him to say, hey, I was wrong and I shouldn't have done that, and it's not gonna happen again. That's literally what, if you read between the lines of what she's saying, that's she wants him to take accountability so they can move on. But he refuses. So it's just like,
and at this point, it's kind of like, I'm actually like, if you're actually not even going to change your behavior, it's even good that you don't say I'm sorry and blah blah blah. Like, fine, because this is more direct in saying like, okay, I'm not going to be with you no more because you can't take accountability, and even if he did, he'd probably still do it again anyway.
And I'm telling you, like, if you don't take accountability, we're not going to be together. And he's just like, so that means you're okay with us not being together, right?
Then when she gets up to leave, because the whole time she's pretty much begging this man, can you talk about it? Like, we can't just, he's like, well, I'm not ready. I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to need for us to address it before I feel comfortable moving forward. And he's like, well, you're not hearing me because I said I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, okay, cool. We don't have to talk about it. You can go your way and I can go mine. And she like pretty much start trying to get her stuff. And he's like, well, don't be rude. We're having a conversation about it.
And she was like, I've been begging you to talk and you don't want to talk, but now that I'm about to leave, I'm the bad guy who's walking out in the middle of the talk. So she's pretty much just kind of over it, and it ends with him just getting up and leaving from the table. So we'll see. I mean, they don't need to stay together, and I hope they break up. So
I hope all these couples break up and move on to something that makes more sense. Yeah, the men need to stay by themselves for some time. The women do too, but it's mostly that
Shorty doesn't need anybody. She needs help.
She does need some help. Yeah, I just want women to know, like, my biggest thing that I have learned is like, sorry, the biggest thing I've learned, not the biggest, there's a lot of big things I've learned, but one of them is you really have to start taking control of your own dating life. Like, there's so much about your dating life that's already out of your hands. Like, you can't control when you meet someone, how you meet them,
if they're gonna cheat, if they're
gonna be faithful, not faithful, whatever. All you can control is knowing your standards and sticking to it, and choosing when to leave if it gets to that. Like, women love to be like, because Shay said this a lot, like, oh, you know, I just want him to decide what he wants. Why are you leaving it in his hands?
Because then if he breaks up with you, you're gonna be like, I can't believe I let him break up with me. Like, I can't believe you broke up with me after all things you did. But it's like, and I can relate. I'm not gonna say I've never been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why are you waiting on him to tell you what he wants? You know it's not working for you, so why won't you be the one to pick yourself and walk away at your big age?
Take that to sleep, marinate on that, guys. But yeah, let us know what y'all feel in the comments. Do you guys feel like all the couples need to break up? Because we are. I'm
off all of them.
And if not, tell us why, and we will catch you guys on the next review next week. Peace.